A new beginning. For reasons I will not get into here, I have dedicated my life to searching for the truth of the Umbra riches. You should you could even say I sacrificed the best years of my life pursuing this story. Working backwards from the legends these women left behind, my search took me to Vigrid. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
A town in the remote hills of Europe the witches once called home. I ended up getting myself involved in a crazy tale of my own while in Vigrid. I'm thinking of getting it published one of these days. So the details will have to wait for the paying customers. This is what Bayonetta herself wrote down, right?
No, it's the Luca, the reporter, or the
Okay.
journalist.
My fascination with the witches has not waned. Far from it. But something new has captured my inquisitive eye. The story of even greater depths calls to me. I had to know more about the true source behind the power of sage and witch alike. I grew restless, and before long I found myself back on an investigative trail. It wasn't long before I found the very place referenced in that ancient scripture, a quiet town nestled between sea and mountain, Noatun. Noatun?
Yeah.
Not 5 minutes in town, I was shocked to see something that confirmed my suspicion, and what a sight it was to behold. There was nothing less than statues depicting the familiar form of sage and witch, statues that were second to none, even when compared to those found in Vigrid. It isn't that harder than I thought it was.
Yeah, that's the first one.
Right.
There's a lot more
Is
to
it
read. Even
is
I
that the
know that.
shortest one?
Yeah. So this one was a nice one to read into because the this one had I think I spent the most time in the water level in this one. The beginning of the game, just trying to look for treasures and whatnot. All I know is yeah, and all these journals are just is Luca or how Bayonet likes to call him Cheshire. Then there's the Miffelheim
Unknown
gates.
entrance. Alright.
Yeah, these are Miffelheim gates.
Have you ever heard of the gates that connect worlds? It might sound like strange fiction, but the truth is these gates exist all over the world we live in. The gates that connects the three worlds and makes the foundation of all our own is relatively well known. So if you're reading this, I'll just go ahead and assume you know of it. However, there are stories of doors that lead to the secret layers of the supernatural, and I've got a great source who just gave me the information I need to bring things to light. I can't reveal who my source is, but according to them, there's a gateway that leads to the primordial world cut off from the flow of time, a place called Muspelheim.
Yeah, then that's the guy I was referring to. Because in the first game they were called Alfenheim, but that's a different realm entirely.
Right.
But I believe they brought it back with with the trials.
This is based on Nordic
Yes.
mythology.
Yeah,
Right?
some what this game I believe more of it's related to North mythology and some other ones in the original game. So it's pretty cool.
Alright. So, the place is full of demons, angels, witches, and sages who spend their days pursuing nothing other than battles. This limit, this no, this limitless world disregards the wounds and deaths of yesterday, always breathing life into its warriors, so that they may live to fight another day. I think Michael is messaging me. You know the stories about some guy who just suddenly disappears, is gone for months, then reappears out of thin air, as if nothing ever happened? There's a large probability that guy accidentally stepped into Muspelheim and somehow found his way back. I know it's the job of a journalist to explore and uncover the truth behind rumors like these. But as far as traveling to other dimensions in a state of endless war, I think I'm good for now.
Yeah.
Hmm,
So
I think I'm doing pretty good so far.
yeah, you're doing all right. For the Miflheim things, I believe I've done all of them besides the ones I possibly missed or late in the game. I know I had to stop and leave 2 or 3 of them behind due to the fact they were too difficult for me to even do at the current streams. So I said, leave them for now. If I consider to do 100%, I'll leave it on the table.
Divine Retribution. If you're going to spit in the face of God, you're probably going to incur some of his wrath. That's just common sense to me. Still, I can't help but feel a little sorry when I hear the level of divine retribution some of these witches get dealt. One case I witnessed was particularly bad. The type of punishment that never gets better. Hurting for all eternity, like a curse. An Umbra witch had a resting place that carried her remains shattered into pieces and her soul flung into a rift in time and space, never to be saved again. Just thinking about what the Switch must have done to get dealt a hand like that drives me almost insane with curiosity. I'd kill for the chance to sit down and chat with the Lumen sages that did it to her. Yet, judging from the witches I know, he could expel them to the ends of the universe and they'd still find a way back. Entry number 1. Or 001. Witch's recipes. Found this cleaning up some old journals and documents scattered about in my dad's office. Actually, note to self. I'm going to be a little proactive and try organizing these things by number. Just came up with that now. It'll take some time for me to parse everything that's written here. But according to my dad's notes, it seems to be talking about something like alchemy. Working materials in different combinations to create something completely different than what we started out with. This particular one seems to be about making some secret potion. From the extract of rare crystals and jewels. Has a few pictures with it too. If somebody would collect the materials here, they might be able to test out if these secret arts works. There you go.
Okay. So how this works in the game? These are pretty much there are three types of materials. There's unicorn horn, crystallized gecko, and mandrake, which are used to which are used to make variables healing, damage, and protection.
Fragments of memory. Strange events sometimes work their way into our everyday lives. Stories abound. Flashbacks from places you have no memory of. A kid who suddenly starts speaking a foreign tongue. A voice in your head that ends up saving your life. The list goes on and on and on. These are said to happen when people come to interact. These are said to happen when people come in contact with the remnants of memory left in this world by God. The God of the human realm had special eyes that could see all existence and happenings across the earth. They could see the fate of whomever they gazed upon, their present, past, and future, everything. God loves the human world, and his kind heart began to feel sadness for mankind. He decided to commit to memory every detail of their fleeting lives, almost like you take a photo. He ended up doing it so much that eventually even he forgot about them, and these records were left scattered across the earth. These are known as the remnants of memory. They usually can't be seen or felt, but the truth is these memories could be anywhere. You could be standing within God's memories right now.
Alright.
Seal time. Sometimes you come across something you lost long ago, and it's been untouched, found exactly as it was when lost. Almost like ancient towns frozen in time after volcanic eruptions. Sometimes children even discover these ruins while playing. When I arrived here, I was circling around the harbor, doing some research, and happened to hear a story from a local fisherman. there seem to be these large pools of water about the city. These are ruins containing statues of witches and sages, and the god that gave them their powers. They say there was a devastating tsunami that hit the city long ago and cracked its very foundation, causing water to seep in and creating the vista you see today. I'd be interested in taking a peek at these ruins before they completely crumble away, but I'm not going in the water at this time of year, freezing cold. That being said, I know a witch who probably wouldn't think twice about dancing her way down into that freezing water though. I might come back after it warms up a bit, make a little vacation out of it. Yep, that's the plan. Relics. Norton is full of ruins and strange sculptures, worn down by time. Most of them have long since fallen to pieces, yet these ruins are still said to have a strange connection to the god of chaos. For example, that ramp-looking object in front of the city's church is said to be a hidden path that once led to the god's home. Or so I was told from some old guy who walked by as I was looking at the ramp. He said those chosen would use it to be able to walk on walls. Not the most reliable source, but I'll take it. He must have been able to. Oh,
Sorry.
he must have been able to tell I was from out of town, seeing how intently I was staring at things. Maybe this used to be able to control. Maybe this used to be able to control gravity. If only I knew a descendant of these chosen ones. I'd love to ask them about it.
Let me explain that. So there'll be certain areas in the game where this kid, I nickname him the Rat Bastard because he could transform into a swirl and he's a prick.
Okay.
And he has the powers of the god. So he's able to revert things back to their former time. And all that.
Alright. Purification grounds. Hold on.
Alright. You good?
Just had to cough a bit. Purification grounds. The brilliant church in central Norton has aged gracefully, maintaining its beauty as if unfazed by the passage of time. Its value is not only sentimental to the people living in the city make regular visits to the church for prayers. I don't know what that word is.
Where is it under?
Nuptials?
Oh, nuptials or nuptials
and funerals. However, word has it that long ago it served yet another purpose. Pilgrims chosen by God would stop by the church in their way. Pilgrims chosen by God would stop by the church on their way to the sacred peak of Fimbulventer.
Yeah, you said it right first time.
Okay. Purifying themselves in the waters that flow through the hollowed grounds. While the road to the summit is lost, holy water continues to flow, purging the impurities of those who bask in it. After ruining a perfectly good pair of shoes, I'd say my feet are pure enough for one lifetime. So he's a dirty vermin, you say?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this area I believe was a cool area. Because I'm not sure if this is the cathedral part or no, this is a cool part because this is where I get into the part where I find the first divine retribution chest.
Alright.
And it's like really cool. You have to like run around and there's where are we?
We are on the Leaders of Umbra.
And if I recall, there's two side areas where you go underwater. This is where it has a mixed land to water bases.
Okay.
So it's also the relic area, that purification ground. I think it's before the seal timed when you enter the game. But let's carry on with
Leaders of the Umbra. What's the first thing you think of when you hear the word witch? I bet you probably thought of some old grandma flying around on a broom, kidnapping children and saving poor little girls with magic. I've got quite a personal history with witches, so allow me to teach you a thing or two about their kind. And let me tell you, they're nothing like the fairy tales. First off, they find the spiritually gifted members of a clan and put them through intense training from a young age. If their latent magical abilities aren't up to snuff, they're pushed aside, even if their bloodline is that of the clan elders. These candidates polish their entire mental and physical being until they're grown women. And only those who are able to learn the complete repertoire of magic arts can then complete the final step to becoming a witch. A ritual contract with what you and I know as demons. In exchange for offering their souls to their contracted demon upon their death, witches are entrusted with incredible destructive powers. Demons? Witches with particularly impressive skills have the ability to push the limits of their magical powers and temporarily control their demons as if they were using their own arms and legs. Witches were said to have been completely killed off in the witch hunts of 500 years ago. But the ones I know are a little too tough, too smart, and too classy to go down that easily.
Which were, I believe, Bayonetta
Am I
and...
doing good? I'm
Yeah,
trying
you're
to
doing good.
put a little oomph into it.
Yeah,
A
you're
little
doing
more
alright.
narrative aspect, not just reading in
Yes.
monotone.
This is the clip, I believe, in the beginning of the game, or prior, in I believe in the prologue. This is before they fight the Val. Have a glance at the Valor. This
Okay.
demon comes up out of fucking nowhere and just tentacle slaps the
Well,
train.
it's time for the next one, the rules of nature!
The
Right.
rules of nature, when it
Yeah.
all dun 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 dun. Alright,
Yeah, do that.
alright.
Rules of nature. No matter the prosperity that modern technology brings, or the semblance of order civilization affords us, we can never truly overcome the power of nature. 500 years ago, a massive disaster renewed the fear of nature into the citizens of Nortun. A giant tsunami is said to have nearly swallowed the town whole. The cause of this wave remains shrouded in mystery. One theory postulates an underwater eruption. Whatever it was, the truth was shit. The truth was swept to the bottom of the ocean, along with the rest of the city. You would never think it looking at. Oh wait, you would never think it looking at the gentle waves that now brush the shore. But apparently whirlpools formed in the bay for some time after the tsunami, swallowing ships and people alike. Yeah, it sounds like Atlantis. F in chat. Post union basket.
Oh wait, I can beat that. Here, let me hit you up with that. Let me hit you with something else.
You're gonna put yourself in the basket?
No, I have something else in the basket. Wait, can I put myself in the basket?
Can you? I don't know, can you?
How do I edit emotes on my phone? Wait, let me do that. Oh, let me go back.
Hey John, you wanna know something fun? You know who's back in chat I just saw?
Who?
Feet. Feet is back.
Ah, God.
Hello, Feet.
Let me modify one. Where's my shitting grin? Oh my God, that was funny.
I smell feet. I can smell feet. Yes.
Oh my God, this is a funny one. There we go.
You just post it. There you go. Alright.
Alright, wait. Let me see.
Yeah.
Alright, good. Oh, I moved that out of the way.
Path of the Chosen.
Wanna try it again? Fuck.
Path of the Chosen. While checking for leads at the town library, I spied an old wall between dusty volumes. The ancient print depicts the sacred mountain Fimbulventer and a long corridor emerging from the summit. The path leads to the Cathedral of Cascades, terminating in a tall tower within the city. Can you scroll down? Okay. If accurate, this print confirms that while the tower is a shadow of its former glory, at one time there was a path from town leading directly to the mountain's peak. Nothing too groundbreaking about that, but the next mural I found was harder to swallow, to say the least. It showed people walking directly up the walls of the aforementioned spire. I thought the sea air might have gone to my head, but no matter how I looked at it, the truth was plain to see. There was a perpendicular parade going up the tower. Were these the chosen ones I had heard so much about? Were these the chosen few who could walk the path to the god waiting atop Fimbulventer? Taboo. Every civilization in history weaves narratives starring heroes who, cursing the fates, who take loved ones from them, travel to the ends of the world and beyond to bring them back. Resurrection is a universal theme of our kind. I am not even sure if I believe in the existence of a soul to begin with, but the desire to be with the one you love? Now you're speaking my language. When these feelings are strong enough, they can drive us to challenge a seemingly immutable fate. Yet, many a myth ends with gods themselves failing in their quests. No matter how iron your will, or how pious your prayer, life once lost can never be returned. Such a power was never meant to be wielded by man. That said, if there are any hopeless romantics left in the world who still want to give it a shot, I know the way to hell, and I'd be happy to give you an escort. Just send me an email. Hit me up.
Hit me up, baby.
Right.
I know you're reading these texts.
This is my totally legit email.
Yeah, don't worry. It's not a scam or anything.
Yeah. Sovereign. People of the ancient world would depend on the word of God for guidance in times of doubt. Good to know I'm not the only one who likes having someone to back me up and give me a shove in the right direction when I need it. Perhaps this is a perennial bad habit that, despite our progress, mankind just can't seem to shake. The folly known as fortune telling is just one of the ways we, as a species, have come up with to imitate the true sovereign power of God. Speaking of which, it just so happens I found an intriguing card with a very mysterious aura about it. It must have belonged to that little boy I just bumped into, though I can't imagine why he'd be carrying something with these bizarre tarot-like markings. When I look at it, I feel like the card is trying to tell me where to go. Well, I won't get far with a single card. How else would they sell you the whole set? City of Water. City of Water. The water capital, that's my name for this town, Norton is surrounded by oceans and lakes. The sea provides more than enough for the residents to sustain themselves. The snow from the peak of Fimbulventer melts into a river that flows to the base of the mountain. The river provides drinking water for Norton's inhabitants, then eventually collects to form a breathtaking lake. At the lake there is the Cathedral of Cascades, an ancient piece of architecture with a very mystifying presence, though some of its ancient buildings still hold together, including its unique pointed roof. The pathways that once connected the city to the mountain's peak has crumbled to the bottom of the lake.
That's where I think this part, City of Water. I believe is the part where I get to use the snake ability.
Schnick.
Yes, snake.
Schnick. Underground graveyard. There is said to be a resting place for the servants of God in the Cathedral of Cascades, submerged underground. The locals told me of a terrible guardian that prowls the corridors, devouring the souls of any fool who trespasses in that sacred place. The people of this town must be fed up with me sticking my inquisitive nose where it doesn't belong. Why else would I concoct such ludicrous tale? The phrase "servants of God" calls to mind images of ordained prophets passing down divine wisdom. I imagine these disciples also played a part in the shadowy past of the witch and the sage. I will find clues to the origins of these clans somewhere in this cathedral. I can feel it. The natives here don't know who they're dealing with. It takes more than a few tired ghost stories to put a damper on the journalistic flame of one Mr. Luca Redgrave. Trademark. Crests are often used to show the lineage and ancestry of a people. The Umbra and Lumen also used such crests to represent their clans. The symbols were based on the object of each clan's respective ideology, the moon for the witches and the sun for the sages. These distinctive symbols, etched upon every Lumen or Umbran object of any importance, make an investigative journalist's job easy. A single glance tells you from which culture an object came from. The Umbran tombs, sealed away by the Lumen, are a unique example, with an Umbran seal on the tomb and a Lumen seal on the marker atop it. They bear the motifs of both the sun and the moon. A crest also exists for Aesir, the god of chaos. Carvings of the symbols are a familiar sight around Noatun. Made up of a series of overlapping diamonds, such components are said to represent a single layer in the matrix of time and space that forms our universe. There is a piece of metal embedded within Aesir's crest that shines with an eerie glow. I've heard it contains some deeper significance, but I am going to need a bit more time to crack this particular chestnut. Holy shit!
What?
There were some difficult words in that. Advanced technology. Sometimes we discover things from the past we find hard to believe. I have seen artifacts displaying a level of civilization that could not have existed in the time they are claimed to have been created. Ruins are found built with technology far too advanced for that of their era. Noatun is said to be one such place where this phenomenon occurs. Unsure of what I would find, I decided to investigate the Cathedral of Cascades. The cathedral stands in the middle of the lake, requiring me to take a boat to reach it. Its outer walls were in worse condition than I had expected. As the breeze blocked the entrance, it took a little improvisation to find a way inside. Surprisingly, the cathedral was in much better condition indoors, and I reached the center of the building in no time. It seemed to be the base of the tower in Norton that almost scrapes the sky, created to be symbolic of the sacred mountain. Fimbulventer, they say there used to be a path from the top of the tower that connected to the peak of the mountain. Jesus Christ. There was a strange sphere-like object sitting in the ground too. Could it have been the ancient elevator I heard the townspeople talking about? Curiously, there were no wires or anything attached to it. Was it supposed to take people up to the top? I didn't see stairs either, so I assumed it was an elevator, but maybe I was wrong. Some of the things people come up with? Seriously. Whatever that was, I want to figure out. Let me do that last part again. Some of the things people come up with. Seriously, whatever that was, I want to figure it out eventually. I snapped a photo, so I'll show it to someone who might know a thing or two about it. Of course, only after I finish the rest of my investigation here. The Way to Paradise. The lake surrounding the base of Fimbulventr is said to extend deep underground, so deep that no one has ever seen its bottom. There are tales that God created a city that sleeps along the lake bed and punishes any who approach it with eternal damnation. I thought it was probably just some story made up to scare kids, but some of the details were a little too worked out. They say the city was formed from the memories of God as he watched over the human world. It was made as a haven to keep the chosen people, plants and animals safe when the judgment day would come. Without the city, all life on the human world would simply be washed from existence with the world itself. It's obviously not the most convenient place to get to, but God was, of course, aware of this. He made sure there was a means of transportation that would carry the chosen ones to his city. The people referred to it as an ark. The ark was put together using special earthen elements that allowed it to move through water like a submarine. If that thing really exists, I wonder if someone like me could make God's chosen one list.
So it's pretty much their version of Noah's Ark, or how it's Noah's Ark
Right.
supposed to be represented.
Right, this is actually really interesting.
Yeah, they take a lot of references from different.
It's like I haven't played the fucking game and I'm learning about the place the city, the fucking story takes place.
Yeah, like there's some games that are really
It's all
shit.
about that city, isn't it?
Yeah, they built a world for each game. Like that's why the journal exists, to explain shit, which is
Right.
cool.
He never continued numbering, by the way, like he said he would.
Number what?
Well, he said in entry number 1, he said he would number it, and he never did.
Oh, fuck, you're right. Forgot about it.
Yeah.
That's been like me though.
A seal.
Oh, sorry. Detective?
What the fuck? Wait, hold on. What the fuck is that?
That's the seal. Okay, so you want me to explain that?
Yeah.
So, the reason why Bayonetta's going to hell, or Inferno, is because
Alright.
Jane's soul's in hell. Or Inferno, quote. And
I don't know who Jane is.
She's a chick that, okay, so here. Let me find the picture. You know Chick in the Coffin I showed you?
Oh, right.
There should be a.
It's fine, I get it.
Fine.
It was more up, but don't worry about it.
Okay. So Jane was a chick that her soul went to hell because she's a witch, and they make contracts with demons. Once they die, their soul goes to Inferno.
They go to hell, right?
Yeah, but for
Right,
this,
they said it earlier.
yeah. So what happened was, since her soul was in hell, Bayonetta said, "Fuck it, give me a timer. How long she has for me to go in hell to save her soul." And that's the premise of her plot of this game.
Okay. Well,
And that triangle thing is sealing the gate of hell. So I'm gonna show you a reference how it would look like. On the book here has the picture of the gate itself.
okay.
So it looks.
Oh,
like,
the book itself.
look at the front part of the book, right? You see that like purple
Right.
thing and little thing.
Okay.
That's what the gate kind of looks like. Same thing, but this will be
okay.
more accurate.
Okay. Well,
And it's upside down. That's why it's triangle. Let me see.
a seal.
It's alright. Take 3.
A seal. A seal. That which is used to keep what is dangerous or important from the reach of others. When the human world was still new, they say there used to be entrances to Inferno and Paradiso all over. But with time they were almost all destroyed by the followers of God. Yet other entrances were too large to be torn down by human hands. God sealed these gates away in almost impossible to reach areas, some so high that only his eyes could see, and some far, far under the water's surface. He created impenetrable barriers around the doors so no one could ever enter. If you think about it in another way, this means that those entrances still exist. They've simply been sealed away. And as they say, seals are made to be broken. If the door's locked, all you need to do is find the key. Although I suppose the first problem you have to face is actually finding one of these gates in the first place. Angels and demons. While we call our own kind in this realm humans, we also give names to the inhabitants of other worlds. Beings from Paradiso are angels, and the creatures of Inferno are known as demons. Sometimes they're the focus of our worship, and sometimes they're the source of our fears. You might not be able to see them, but have you ever felt their presence? Their walls are right next to ours. Sometimes they're standing right beside us. We are told that they're watching over the human world, but they've been sighted plenty of times as well. There are people who actually have the power to see these angels and demons. Looking at the descriptions and pictures they leave behind, we usually see angels depicted as punishers of evil who lead the pious to a land of overflowing with pure light. Demons get depicted as humans who have died unfortunate deaths, or fallen angels who are reborn to spread death and suffering. Witches most likely get their bad reputation from their association with demons, even though the Umbra are just as human as we are. And when it comes down to it, we possess qualities of both angels and demons, while constantly doing anything to accomplish our own selfish ends, which might make us the most terrifying creatures in existence. Guardian. God made a special place to protect his remembrance of time, which came to be known as the Garden of God. The garden needed a strong protector to watch over his creations. The Guardian was a robot-like soldier, built to obey only the orders of its creator. It could change its form freely to whatever would defeat its opponent in the swiftest manner possible. With time, humans discovered the fearful soldier God had created and imitated this technology to build their own soldier of war, the Golem. While Golem was originally intended to be used as a protector of their homelands, its power became too great to control. Eventually, mankind was left with no other choice but to seal the Golem off in another dimension. As for the original Guardian that God created, what it's doing now is anyone's guess. Who knows? It might still be lying in wait somewhere, keeping its territory safe from intruders. This means it's not the safest bet to be loitering around in any kind of sacred realm, if you catch my drift.
Yeah,
This is really putting me into a reading mood.
yeah. In this game, let me explain how these guardians or golems work. So, in this game, they kind of mimic your demon abilities.
Yeah, cause
They
yeah,
don't
they're
co-
mimicking.
Yeah,
They're kind of trying to mimic. They're like the Guardian. They're basically.
yeah,
Makes sense.
and they would what they would do, they would transform into Bayonetta's demon spawns. She could use or summon.
Garden of God. In the past, God watched over the human world all by himself. The human world is always in a state of flux. Time flows endlessly, bringing death and new life. That which disappears is eventually forgotten. God felt mercy for existence and tried to grant them eternity with remembrance of time. At intervals, he would quietly appear in the human world and observe creation, slowly building remembrance of time. He created a special place to store the great deal of memories he had created. This place was known as the Garden of God and described in children's stories as a place in the depths of Lake Norton. It is said to be full of the places and things found in the lives of ancient civilizations cut off from the ebb of time. Something tells me it wouldn't be the best place for your normal citizen to go wandering around in. Even if the whole thing is just made up, I wouldn't be it. Even if the whole thing is just made up, I wouldn't be me if I didn't at least try to find it. Demonic currency. Every once in a while you find someone either brave or stupid, enough to pick a fight with angels and demons. A word of advice? Save the epic battles for video games. Meet one of these monsters for real, and the only smart choice is to run. If you have a death rush, I won't try to stop you. But at least make sure to arm yourself with a proper weaponry. Every day, guns and knives are nothing more than a minor irritation to these beings. They won't even leave a scratch. You need something with a lot more bite. How does one acquire such a weapon? A hardworking, upstanding citizen like you and I eke out a meager existence. In a certain establishment, these types of goods switch hands daily. Sequestered in the shadow of a gaudy neon. This part bar, part armory, makes its home in the dankest corner of the city, the gates of hell. The unremarkable facade opens into an equally unremarkable pub. But those who enter via a secret door will meet a weaponsmith without equal. This, however, is easier said than done. Even if you find the door, one look from the barkeep and most don't make it past the threshold. And don't even think of trying to buy these articles. With money, remarkable weapons require something remarkable in payment, namely the glowing halos that crown angels, or the metals that carry a demon's essence. Types of currency that, while sinister, are said to be treasures of incomparable beauty. If you are looking for a discount, the right brand of Japanese sake makes any deal more palatable. You should be able to get him to hand over at least a priceless talisman or two. Overseer of Inferno. Inferno, the cruelest, most ruthless place in existence. Humans are said to end up in this hellish world upon meeting an untimely end. In Inferno, power controls everything. War between its demonic inhabitants is endless, and it isn't uncommon for rank to quickly change hands. I've been picking up a thing or two about the place at this bar I've been frequenting. Recently, just like in our world, there are some strange things occurring, and the denizens are starting to get a little restless. The owner of this bar advised me to keep my distance, told me it might not be a place where I can get by on my good looks alone, like that place exists. Even if it did, it's not like I could find my way there, even if I wanted to. I keep mentioning this bar, but I'll have to keep this particular to a minimum. Its particulars to a minimum. I've made a deal with the owner that I won't disclose its location. It's too good of a source of information to leak where it is anyway. Okay, just a hint. It's a bar in the same city as the office my dad left behind. The bar keeps a low profile, tucked away in one of the darker parts of town. I wouldn't say it's the best place to take a date, but the owner's always got good stories. I end up getting most of the info I'm looking for there. It doesn't come cheap though. When you catch a bartender in a good mood, he'll tell you some strange tales. Words that are like something out of a kid's story to us. Paradiso, Inferno, speaks about them with descriptions so realistic that you can get lost in a story pretty easily. And before you know it, you've been listening to him talk the entire night. He's a strange guy though. The few rare times I get a look past his sunglasses at those blood-stained, glowing red eyes, the gaze is so chilling, I think it might freeze my very soul. He always says you won't find a nicer angel anywhere you look. Something tells me that's just your run-of-the-mill demon joke. Oosh. That was a long one. Balance. There's a balance that exists in all things. Finding it isn't the easiest thing in the world. But when you do, few things give you a better sense of accomplishment. Balance has a great deal of meaning to our world. The three realms a world is divided into, light, darkness, and chaos, have been carefully balanced as the trinity of reality, so as to not interfere with one another. Although we say three realms, they originally existed as one. The split caused the balance between these worlds to sometimes be as delicate as walking across thin ice. If one realm were to eventually acquire power greater than the others, the balance of the three realms would easily fall into anarchy. There are some with the ability to travel to Purgatorio, the realm between realms, or use gates to travel back and forth between different realms, sometimes causing chaos and confusion. Irresponsible use of this power can cause monumental problems for the Trinity. It can lead to wars between realms and devastating natural disasters. At least if I'm to believe the words of a certain bartender. At least if I'm to believe the words of a certain bartender I've been spending too much time with. Perhaps these natural disasters that's not popping up on stream. You're gonna have to cut this, I'm sorry. Perhaps these natural disasters happening within the realms are some sign that this... Fuck. One moment. Perhaps these natural disasters happening within the realms are some sign that this collapse in balance between the three realms is already underway. Which reminds me, there have been some unnatural occurrences happening to me as well, that could only be explained by crisis sweeping all realms of existence. Getting my code stuck in that car door, getting turned down by 3 girls in the same week. What other reason could there be than foul play in the balance of the Trinity? This fucking guy.
Oh, trust me, you get used to him once you get into the fucking second game.
Do you meet him in game?
Yeah.
Yeah?
In the first game, his father, he thinks he killed his father.
Oh, alright.
Yeah.
Well.
And it's in the second game. Well, Bayonetta calls him Cheshire, which is if you play the first game, it's her doll.
Alright.
Yeah.
Shadows on Vigrid. The witches are gone from this universe. They were said to have been killed off one by one during the malicious witch hunts that once spread through Europe. At least that's what's written in the books. The real truth is a little more complicated. The mass slaughter known as the witch hunts of Vigrid was, in truth, a war of mythical proportions. The Lumen Sage responsible for the war launched a conflict that expanded beyond just humanity, reaching into Inferno and Paradiso as well. The Angels' offensive was so overpowering that the Umbra were completely wiped out. But in the aftermath, this destructive fate also met the Lumen, and both clans were wiped from history. As I researched the Umbra and Lumen, who are considered the overseers of history, I learned that what we see with our eyes and hear with our ears isn't always the truth I thought it to be. An Umbra witch who survived the witch hunts of the past, what sort of monumental secrets are locked away within her destiny? They unfold even now, in the unending cycle of life and death. Crazy to think that something that could decide the fate of the universe is taking place in Noatun, at this very instant. At least that's what my instinct's telling me is happening. I'll use this prized nose of mine to sniff out whatever is actually going on. Where darkness falls. Similar to the secret underground passageway you'd expect to find behind bookshelves in old looming mansions, the grid was full of rooms with secret pathways and training rooms the Umbra used. I found that out a while back when I was researching the Umbra. Later I learned my old man had stumbled upon the same thing. Anyway, as witches draw their strength from the darkness, they would set up facilities that allowed them to train indoors while it was light outside. It could be that they hated the sunlight, or maybe it was a measure they took to keep their secret arts as far from the public eye as possible. Most of these hidden passages were forgotten after the witch hunt. Time passed, and the city developed. Most of it, most of the inhabitants probably would never think there could be some secret path in the very house they live in. When you think about it, maybe they're happier not knowing. A witch's ultimate weapon. At their peak, the secret arts of the Umbra witches had advanced to the point where they would give even today's modern science a run for its money. Not many records remain of what the Umbra accomplished. Most were lost in the witch hunts of the past. There are, however, still many wall paintings depicting what the Umbra were capable of. On certain wall paintings there are depictions of gigantic jet black warriors the witches would call forth in the middle of their most desperate battles. I guess you would call it a robot? Still, it's not like these robots you see nowadays. These machines were like something straight out of a science fiction flick. Considering it's a heavily armored, powered suit for the Umbra, I guess Umbran armor would be a good name for it, right? Similar to how the witches would control their infernal demons, Umbran armor is manipulated by connecting the machine's framework with a witch's hair, using it as a catalyst for the magic power needed to move the armor, like it was their own hands and feet. Any witch that hopped into that iron suit could take down entire armies of angels in the blink of an eye. Sadly, that still wasn't enough to save their clan from elimination. Make your ultimate doom weapon. Yeah, boy.
Oh yeah, these things are pretty cool.
An audience with. It is said that God waits at the top of Thimble Venter, guiding those who visit him with his wisdom, so they may find their true path. To those living below, the top of the mountain looked to always be facing the most harsh, frigid conditions, but the southern quarters somehow remain isolated from all this, an area both peaceful and serene, with a perfect view of the starry sky. Perhaps this was necessary to keep an accurate record of the stars' movements and the current happenings in the world. It is said that learned scholars of the past had a magnificent grasp of astronomy. I think it is probably because God imparted this wisdom unto them. What piqued my interest is a rumor about gates leading to both Inferno and Paradiso at the mountain's summit. Maybe God had those gates near his dwelling to watch over those worlds along with ours. Seeing if they really exist would be worth checking out. The path to the mountain has crumbled away as time triumphed over it, leaving the other side blocked off forever. But to a fearless adventurer like myself, it sounds like just a challenge I've been waiting for. And then, finally, conclusion. I came to this town to find out the truth behind the origins of the legend of Aesir, but I never imagined I'd witness the story's conclusion with my own eyes. I don't think I can accurately sum up the century-spanning tale here, but I'll give it a brief account. Long, long ago, God imparted his powers to mankind by giving them the eye of the world, making the dawn of free.
That's dumb.
Long ago, God imparted his power to. Okay. Finally, the conclusion. I came to this town to find out the truth behind the origins of the legend of Aesir, but I never imagined I'd witness the story's conclusion with my own eyes. I don't think I can accurately sum up the century-spanning tale here, but I'll give it a brief account. Long ago, God imparted his powers to mankind by giving them the eyes of the world, marking the dawn of free will. With the passing of the power, a new life was created. His name was Lopter. Lopter had the ability to absorb the evil thoughts of mankind that began to flow throughout the world. His power grew, and he dreamed of one day having a power equal to the god in which he was created. After accumulating a massive amount of energy, Lopta attempted to steal the eyes of the world, but failed. By reincarnating himself, God fled to our modern era, where he was followed by Lopta. Lopta began a plan lasting 500 years involving Inferno, Paradiso, the Lumen, and the Umbra. As the world descended into chaos, Lopta began the final part of his plan. Yet, in the end, not being a fully realized god, he couldn't foresee everything. An Umbra witch crossed paths with God himself. As if fate had miraculously aligned, the two came together to stop Lopta's plan. In turn, saving the world, maybe it wasn't the perfect ending everyone hoped for, but a human world is still alive and kicking. So that's something. The eyes of the world have lost their power, but the fear of humans losing their free will has been erased. Perhaps the eyes of the world have dissolved into our world and dispersed their power silently across humanity. I can't say I really know what's going to happen next, but that's what makes tomorrow interesting, I suppose. As long as I'm still around, I'm going to keep searching for the truth. And let it be known, Seeker of Truth, Luca Redgrave. Thank you.